So you've by now learned quite a bit about the science mesh, and well, your question now might be, how can we join it? But before I will present you a very hands-on tutorial, let me try to convince you just a bit more. So why should you become an early adopter right now? Okay, first of all, a large-scale project like this needs a lot of testing and input from you, early adopters, because this will ultimately help us identify issues early on. And well, the more help we get, the faster we can proceed with its development. The more users we get, the more experience we can gain. And for such a novel idea, this is very, very important, as you can surely imagine. Yeah, and of course, it also gives you the possibility, the ability of providing your ideas. And in this early stage, all these suggestions can be integrated much more easily than at some later stage. And of course, the community we will have will be quite large. And so being part of this means that your users will be able to share files with so many others. And it also means that or we grant that these sites that are part of the science mesh fulfill certain standards. And of course, they will be CS3 compliant. You've already heard about the various CS3 APIs. And so this offers a lot of technical opportunities for you. Another benefit is that you will get your hands on new features pretty early. And well, these features, some of them at least, can very well be based on your input. And last but not least, you appear on this nice dashboard you've seen quite a few times by now. So this will generate exposure for you, which is always a good thing. So you've seen this 5 times, 6 times, but let me give you a little bit more information about it. So there are 2 maps. The left one shows the user distribution per country. So right now there are quite a lot in Switzerland and Germany. And the other map shows pinpoints, which are the locations of the various sites. On the very right, there are a few technical details. And on the lower, you will see the user count, the use storage per site, and the total amount of both. Okay, so these are just a few benefits for you. So let's see how you can join us. Well, first of all, there's one very little prerequisite right now. So this is, you need to be either running OwnCloud or Nextcloud as your CS3 platform. C-file support is currently in development. This is also true for the accompanying web application, which we are investigating. So those of you who are running C-file will have to wait just a bit longer. So to actually join us, the Science Mesh, you need to install 2 pieces of software. First, this is a specific web application for your platform, and this so-called IOP, Interoperability platform, which you've also now heard about in the form of Reva. As I said, I'll give you a hands-on tutorial, but we've also written more extensive tutorials, which you can find at these 2 links. They are provided by Hugo, who has done a very nice job on this. So if this, what I'm about to show you, is not enough, point your browser there and you'll surely be able to get this all running. Okay, the first step, you need to download the web application. And this is a manual process. You need to download them manually, but we are already in the process of publishing them in the respective marketplaces. So you'll be able to just install the app with 1 click. After downloading, you need to extract the archive. The contents go into the apps directory. The exact location depends on your system, on your configuration, but well, as an administrator decides, this should be fairly easy for you. And also the tutorials show some more details about this. Yeah, and once you've done this, you need to enable them. For this, you need an administrative account. And for OwnCloud, it can be enabled under Settings Apps, as can be seen in this screenshot. And for Nextcloud, this can be done under Settings Your Apps. It's just a click on the Enable button. So next, a bit of configuration. So the configuration is pretty much the same for both platforms. You can always find them in the additional settings. There are a few things you need to pay attention to. First, the host name needs to match the site URL, but excluding the protocol like HTTP, HTTPS. The IOP address must point well to your IOP instance. I'll explain this next. It is especially important here that you specify the correct port, but there are also some more details coming up. Also, for the time being, you need to fill in some statistic like the total number of users, the storage used manually, as these are not extracted automatically from your instance right now. Okay, next, the IOP, which comes in the form of Reva. You've heard of this by now, I guess. So Reva acts as a bridge between the different CS3 platforms, and it basically connects your site to the science mesh and exports metrics we can gather. And it, well, makes your site appear in the dashboard, of course. You can download a precompiled binary of the Reva daemon from this GitHub release pages. If this, for some reason, doesn't work on your system, you can always build Reva from the sources. This is often, well, many people are afraid of such a step, but Reva is written in Go, and, well, from my experience, compiling Go is rather easy compared to other languages. So you should at least not be afraid to try this in case of that the binary doesn't work. Yeah, and there's also plenty of further information of Reva on this GitHub page. So if you're interested in learning more about the IOP, this is a pretty good starting point. Okay, once you've downloaded or compiled Reva, you need to write a small configuration file, which looks basically like this. One thing you need to pay attention to is this port number here I've highlighted. This is the port Reva will listen on, and you need to use this when configuring the IOP address in the web application, as I've shown before. If you're not running Reva on the same host as your platform, you will also need to make sure that this port can be reached from the outside somehow, like enabling it or opening it in a firewall. You also need, in such a case, Reva is not running on the same host, you need to change the instance address. This just points to your CS3 platform, so Reva knows where to connect to. Well, just save this file. So just save this configuration to a file like metrics toml in the same directory as the Reva binary, and start it like shown here. It's just a simple command line, and that's it. Reva will now run in the background and will also automatically register the site with the science mesh. Okay, so this is all from the technical side, all you need to install. So what happens next? Well, we will check your entry and verify that all pieces are working correctly, that everything has been filled out nicely. This especially includes checking if metrics can be gathered from your site. This is, of course, extremely important to appear on the dashboard. This is a manual process, so please give us a bit of time for this. It won't happen automatically within 5 seconds. So if everything is fine, your site will be accepted into the science mesh, and you will also automatically appear on our dashboard. For you, there's nothing more to do. You're part of it. Welcome. Of course, you can run into turbulence. Not everything might work as I've described here, what to do. Well, just contact us. We are always there to help you. You can either reach us through this GitHub channel or via email on our official website. Yeah. So this was quite short, but this just shows how easy it is to join us. And I don't see any reason why someone shouldn't do this right now. Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Very nice. Any quick questions to Daniel? You've got some thumbs up.
As Andreas.
The audience.
Yeah, good idea. I can do that as well. Thanks. I have two quick questions. The first question, how about Reva with a clustered environment? So should we install it on every single node or just have one dedicated Reva node?
Just one.
Okay.
Because otherwise we might get a lot of different entries, depending that would cause chaos.
Okay.
So just one instance of Reva. As said, it's really a small background service, doesn't use any resources.
Second question, how about policies? Do we need to sign anything?
Not at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
We're really trying to make this as easy as possible, as well, we need to gain experience.
Let's say the paperwork will come later.
Yep.
I know that from our federation.
Let's try to convince ourselves that we can do something technically viable for the users. And if this is the case, then we will take all the paperwork overhead. Okay, David.
If I may comment on the paperwork, there is a proposal that is derived mostly from what EduGain has, which is quite simple. It's a very simple procedure that can be summarized. Be nice to personal data. Follow the technical rules, and that's it. And we expect to have just a simple declaration of the site to say that to join the mesh as easy as possible. But because handling personal data, some form of paperwork will be necessary.
Thank you, David, for this comment. Okay, so maybe in the interest of time, let's move on, but I'm pretty sure you will have some more questions to Daniel once you try out what he has shown. Okay, so let me look at the agenda. So I think it's now the turn of Maciej, isn't it?